Welcome to the Mountain Man Chronicles. Be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Live, learn, and explore.
Hey, it's Paul again. I hope you're doing well. Coming at you from the homestead, a little windy and still stormy here in South Dakota. I thought I'd talk about a topic that's near and dear to my heart, or I should say near and dear to my wife's ears. I'm a snorer. And when I mean snoring, I mean Popeye waking up the mouse in the wall type of snoring. I mean snoring that can change tides, make trees fear that the chainsaws are coming through. That subject, I'm going to talk about something that I often hear and read about, is how do you overland or camp or do whatever with a CPAP? For a long time, I've used the CPAP. I've also cowboy camped the CPAP. I use it in my trailer. I use it in back of my Jeep, wherever I'm going to sleep. I use the Sleep App. Way back when I was a young kid, I didn't snore as much. Still snored pretty well. I would go without it, but I've learned just it's a lifesaver for me because it avoids the bear grumpy Paul. But it's a lifesaver for everybody I camp with because I don't get a bunch of grumpy campers because I kept them up all night. I come from a long line of snoring family members, so I'm just a tip of it. So I'm going to touch on that. We're going to talk about using a CPAP camping. There's different types of CPAPs. I used to use a 12-volt CPAP, but I've now moved over to a 110 because my CPAP requires quite a high volume. So there are different options. There's battery-powered CPAPs. They're a little more expensive. There's CPAPs that could go with a 12-volt plug-in is what I recommend. And then there's 110 CPAP. So the key thing is understand what kind of CPAP you're going to use and make sure that it's doctor approved and all that stuff, which you can do with your doctor. Second thing is don't fear camping or overlanding with the CPAP. Really easy. It'll make your life so much easier. All you need to use, I've used everything from a simple car battery that I brought along before I could afford a battery pack. I've used a variety of different things, right? So car battery was plugged into at one time a little AC converter, which was like a 1200 watt AC converter, which worked great. I could use CPAP for like 3 or 4 days on that thing and use a solar panel to charge battery, sorry. Then I moved over and I went out and bought one of these right here, which is what I use currently. I've had for about 4 years, 5 years. It's a Goal Zero little Yeti 400. Works really, really, really well, right? So this works well. And this is a lead acid battery one. It's not even a lithium one. What I liked about it is if it's cold, I don't have to worry about the lithium taking a dump on me. But it works really well, right? So I just put it on 110. I can get 2 or 3 days off of this. And what I do is during the day is I just plug it in my solar panel. Or if I'm using my Mission Overland trailer, I'll use that on the 110. And I got plenty of solar on the roof, 200 watts of solar. And then I got 400 amps or 400 amp hour lithium batteries in that. So I don't really worry about that as much. But with this, I just got a little solar panel. I have a blackjack trailer, which if anyone knows this little tent trailer type of thing, that has no power whatsoever. I use this one and go on there for my CPAP. It works really well. Now with the CPAP, a couple things that you want to think about if you're using a CPAP camping. First of all, make sure your battery has enough charge to make it through the night. Like I said, I can go 2 nights on this without a problem, even if I'm not solar charging, if it's cruddy weather like we have often here, overcast. You can do that, or have a solar panel. Like when we went on a long extended trip trailer, I used a solar panel. Just put it up, charge it during the day, use it at night, charge it during the day. It was great. And plus with pass-through power, you can drive around and charge your charger all day long. The CPAP itself, I use just a little tiny one because I like to be able to store it away somewhere. This one is a 110. It is not a 12 volt. Now 12 volt, you can get a lot longer on. You can probably go a week on it with something like this. It's probably like 5 days, 4 or 5 days. Even with the 110, using the little converter, it works really well. The other thing that I often get asked is, how do you deal with the hose when it's cold? That's probably the biggest question I get asked. Because as you know, if you are a CPAP user and it gets cold and you blow in cold air in your nose, you get a stuffed up nose. There's no way around it. It's just cold air going in your nose. It's stuffed up, or whatever your mask is. You can get a dry mouth. What I do, the secret is 1 of 2 things. I've tried putting a sleeve over the CPAP. That didn't work so well for me. It didn't offer enough insulation. What I typically do is I'll put this in the sleeping bag with me. Use my body heat next to me to warm up the hose, which gives me warm air, right? And the hose stays warm next to you, and you can breathe normally. The key and the secret to really camping and making it enjoyable for everyone, including your spouse, including your family members, including campers 7 states away if you're me, you want to make sure that you bring your CPAP along. Don't fear overlanding. Don't overthink it. Just go out and enjoy, right? That's the secret, is really just go out and enjoy. Even with a small problem like a CPAP and being a snorer, don't let it slow you down. There's always ways around it. No matter what type of challenge you have, there's a solution for it. Solution for the CPAP is just get a little battery pack, use your car. If you have a trailer, even more power to you. But you can cowboy camp with an average CPAP with just a battery. Heck, I've seen people use motorcycle batteries with a clamp to it to a 12 volt, right? They just charge the motorcycle battery on their car. So don't let it slow you down. I hope this was helpful, a little helpful tip for today. And thanks for joining. I'll see you on the trails. Bye now.
Live, learn, and explore.